Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn People podcast. We're coming at you a few days early. I was just going to do a pre-recorded session and then throw it up on Sunday, but I figured it's Friday night. You probably have nothing else better to do than sit here and listen to Dom and I talk movies. We have a fun show for you. We've seen a ridiculous amount of screeners this week. There's so many screenings of so many different movies that we can talk about. We can even throw Maestro in there. You've seen Maestro now, and just seen a lot of movies. It's that time of the year for us right now, so it's fantastic. Napoleon, Disney's Wish. I watched Matt Rife's new special. I don't know if you've watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
The Madam Web trailer, top 3 comfort movies. I mean, this is just going to be a jam-packed show talking about a little bit of everything. As always, joined by my partner here, Mr. Don Fisher. How are you today, bud?
Yeah, I'm exhausted as shit, man. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, wait. Pop. No, I'm tired, dude. Like people don't realize outside of course, other critics that a lot of times the movies that we watch, especially in a packed week, we know the embargoes form where we can actually post our review, whether it's video or written. The turnaround sometimes is really quick. So you might see a movie on a Tuesday and embargoes Wednesday morning. And you're like, oh shit, I gotta try to get this out, but also try to, have a coherent, intelligent review. And, sometimes it's difficult. I know there's times where I black out and I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I said, but I got it done. Hopefully it was good. So yeah. Not only do we watch movies, go to screenings, we got them at home too. So yeah, it's just movies on movie as we head towards this award season finish line.
Yeah, it's award season. Just to put a little bit of perspective of what has been going on this week, some of the movies and screeners we both didn't partake in, but there's quite a few that I didn't partake in because I had already seen the movies, or I would be on the verge of death like Dom. But Monday night, there was Maestro. Tuesday, we had Napoleon during the day, and then Hunger Games was at night. Wednesday night was Disney's Wish. Thursday could have been Poor Things, but Dom chickened out and didn't go see it. So no. But Thursday's Poor Things, and then of course on top of that, everything that's going on and being released that we don't get screeners for, like this weekend comes out. Thanksgiving that came out this weekend. I saw that actually. I went and saw it last night. And there's so many other movies that are set to come out. Like next week, The Holdovers is out. I still haven't seen that yet. Saltburn comes out next week. On top of the well, you got that Leo movie that's dropping, and there's an abundance.
Good Burger 2.
Good Burger 2 is coming out next week. There's an abundance of films right now that are just coming out at a floodgate, and it's hard to keep up. Rustin came out today on Netflix. Please watch that movie. I'm trying to go through the list of movies that are coming out or on set, but it's a lot right now, and it's a busy time of the year for us. Appreciative of obviously this opportunity, but at the same time doesn't make you any less tired, especially like we talked about Napoleon, we saw Napoleon at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday. And the embargo was a mere 6 hours, I think, later.
I think so. It was something like that.
But so theoretically 2.5 hour movie. So you're looking at a 2.5 hour, maybe 3 hour turnaround time. That doesn't include what you're doing to drive home. It doesn't include that if you have a life, stuff like that. But as well
as all these shows dropping too. You had The Invincible's been dropping its episodes, and then you had today Monarch Legacy of Monsters dropped on Apple TV.
Lawman Bass Reeves is on right now. I've been watching that. What was that? The one that dropped on FX, A Murder at the End of the World.
Oh, yep.
I've been watching that. You have The Buccaneers, which is weekly on Apple TV Plus right now. I've been covering that. Bosch Legacy just ended last Friday, so it's like there's a lot. Yeah, I didn't even think about the TV aspect. I mean, coming from a guy that reviews a lot of TV, I should probably weigh that. But you're right, it's a lot. It's kind of a lot right now. So it's definitely. But that's why we're doing a Friday episode. I've got a busy weekend ahead of me. There's a lot going on, but let's see here. Next week we have some fun stuff. some fun screeners planned. One that we really can't talk about quite yet, but it should be great. And then I don't think there's anything else the rest of next week. I'm very excited to go see Saltburn next week. I'm going to fit that into my schedule next week. I don't know when yet, but very, very, very excited to see that. Real quick, before we dive into the world of trailers and stuff like that, let's see here. Oh, man, I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole Coyote thing, man. Coyote versus Acme, the film was dropped by Warner Brothers. They kind of made a 180 decision. They were looking to get a $30 million tax write-off to scrap the fully complete film, but then they've made a U-turn. Now they're saying that the creators can shop the film.
Oh, wow.
Other studios and stuff like that. How do you feel? I mean, this is even getting to the point where Texas congressman got involved and said that this is not something that should be able to be done, which I kind of agree with. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's weird to fully make a movie and then go, let me try to get some money back from it. Like, nah, bro. Like, put that shit out. If it failed, that's on y'all. Like, you gotta live with your mistakes. You know what I mean? And I mean, they already, what was the Batgirl or Batwoman, whatever one they showed after spending millions of dollars. Dumb, because I know they said it was terrible, but I'd heard from some people who worked on the film who were like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, there's definitely worse.
And it's crazy because didn't they everything I've read about this Coyote versus Acme film is great, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, that's the weird part about this, is apparently that's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea too. I mean, if I was him, like, yo, your shit's always breaking. I'm trying to eat what's good. Like, it's a good idea. I don't know why. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. They've been in shambles for a while now, and
they need to get rid of old buddy.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you went from HBO Go to HBO Max to Max, like, they made you drop the HBO part, and now they're making you scrap stuff, and I don't know, man. They got to figure it out.
Yeah, in the process of everything, Marvel's kind of bombed at the box office. I know Dom said it was good. Let's see here. What else do we have? I don't know. We have a lot of things filming, obviously, because we just got out of the strike, which thankfully that's a fantastic thing. Glad that everybody got the things that they were looking. Netflix canceled 5 series: Shadow and Bone, Glamorous, Agent Elvis, Captain Fall, and Farzar. I don't even know any of those.
I know Farzar. I like Farzar.
Queer Eye is renewed for season 9. Welcome to Wrexham is renewed for season 3. Praise PD is canceled at Freeform. I don't even know what that is. Young Sheldon's ending after season 7. The Fall Guy was pushed from March to May. It's going to be now a fall or a summer blockbusters type thing to kind of kick off the year. Let's see here. Netflix is considering acquiring live game rights to NBA's in-season tournament. That'd be kind of cool, honestly. Let's see. And now, the most streamed stuff of the week on the movie/TV side. Netflix, it's The Killer, fantastic movie. All the Light We Cannot See for the TV side of things. HBO's Meg 2, The Trench.
Still, that's crazy.
I know. Disney Plus, Elemental still. Loki still. Not surprising. Loki's just ending. Prime Video, The Other Zoe. TV, not surprising. Invincible, since it's weekly. Paramount Plus on the both sides of things. South Park joining the Panderverse. And then South Park, the TV show. On Hulu, Quiz Lady for the film, which I really think that's awesome because I really like that movie.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Hulu, The Power Book Force. I don't know what that is. And Apple TV, Curses and The Morning Show. So that wraps up the most streamed TV and some of the news that was from the week. Let's see here. Adam Stanheight and Saw 2023 movie post-credits scene. Yes. Okay. I'm actually. I would. You saw Saw, right? I loved it. We got the 4K Blu-ray DVD set to come out on the 21st. Make sure to buy it. This is not an ad. It just was sitting. It's literally sitting next to me. I recorded some stuff, and I was just like, it's just sitting here. And that guy said Saw 10. I was like, yeah. I think I thought it was a great addition to the franchise. So, but that being said, Dom is ready to talk about a specific trailer of the week. So let's make it happen.
All right, this is the trailer that you have been waiting for your whole lives.
Whole life.
I think it was yesterday, I believe. There was a leak of the information from this trailer on, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. I believe the trailer dropped yesterday, but we have Madam Web from the writers of Morbius. So I'll just lead in with that. Cassandra Webb is a New York City paramedic who starts to show signs of clairvoyance. Forced to confront revelations about her past, she must protect 3 young women from a mysterious adversary who wants them dead. We have film stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Emma Roberts, Celeste O'Connor, Adam Scott, and Tahar Rahim, and weirdly enough, Mike Epps apparently is in there. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this Sony Marvel project?
Let's talk about the cast. Okay, first, let's go. I love big Emma Roberts fan. Love Emma Roberts. I think she's great. Dakota Johnson is like one of the top 5 hottest women on the planet. Adam Scott's really cool. I don't really know a lot of the other people in the cast. Never seen him before in my life. And then there's somebody else that really can act. So who's this Isabella Merced? I know her. I've seen her and stuff, right? She was in
was she in Power Rangers? Was that her? I can't remember. She's definitely been in a lot of things.
Wait, she was the Dora in the Lost City of Gold?
She was. Yep.
Holy cow. Somebody grew up. Yeah, and then of course you have Sydney Sweeney, who I just am not a huge fan of. I don't think she can act.
There was one movie she did that was really good. It was a Netflix film. I think it was earlier in her career. Maybe it was like Nocturne, where her and her sister were at like a boarding school and they were competing for like piano position. I don't know. It was pretty good.
I'll take your word for it. We'll take your word for it. Okay. That being said, I mean, I don't know. It looks dumb. Like, I don't know. The thing about it is, I'm going to be seated for a few reasons. I mentioned Dakota Johnson. She's the number one reason I'll be seated for. But it was funny, like the viral clip of her talking about how she's like always loved Marvel movies is the funniest clip you'll ever see of anything ever, because she's lying out of her ass about it. But it looks dumb. If it's anything like, if it leans more into Venom than it does Morbius, I'll like it. If it's cheeky humor and just, I don't know. It looks like it could be fun, but it also looks like it could be a steaming pile of crap. So,
yeah.
What did you think of it?
So apparently, from what I know about some of the characters and what this might be about, you have this guy. They're in a different timeline than what we're used to. Ezekiel Sims, in the comics at least, takes over the mantle of a Spider-Man when Peter Parker is killed. But he didn't get his powers from the same way, like getting bitten and whatnot. But this film makes him more of the bad guy. I don't really know if he is a bad guy or not in the comics. I haven't read his whole thing. But, I mean, Sony, when they do these Marvel films, I talked about this on a podcast earlier today, they have a formula that I don't really like, where they introduce you to this character and they're kind of whimsical and, you know, doing their thing, and then they stumble upon something, find something, gives them these powers mysteriously, like, oh, what is this happening? And then they test them out, and then there's this random bad guy, and then they go, oh, I have powers, I should help. And that's every single Sony Marvel film. If you look at them, that's how they all start off. They stumble across something, Morbius, he stumbled across these bats. This one, she's gonna stumble upon these clairvoyant powers. Venom stumbles across the symbiote. Like, it's all kind of the same formula, and they're just changing the pieces around. And I really hope they're not doing that shit again, because it don't work. I mean, I love Venom because of Hardy and Venom, the character himself, but Craven doesn't look great because it's the same formula. Like, they got to figure something out. We're tired of the same origin story diagram. Like, we need a new formula. I think The Flash wasn't the best movie, I like that it was an origin story without being an origin story. So figure out a new way to do it, because if not, this movie is gonna flop, and pretty faces aren't gonna be enough to get butts in the seats once the initial fan reviews and our reviews come out. It does come out on my birthday weekend, though. That's kind of cool.
When's it come out again?
February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Okay. Weird release date, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess the idea would be to have like a couple's, girl power mixed with guys wanting to see you know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. I don't think. I mean, because I don't know how much it intertwines. I don't know. I just feel like that's bad box office wise. I feel like this is like it's bound to flop.
I think Kane and editor Geek Vibes, he had tweeted out that all the Sony verse is supposed to merge with Marvel and Spider-Man 4 apparently. So I guess that's when we'll kind of see it all tie in, but I don't know how long all these characters are going to stick around, because like you said, with Dakota kind of seeming like she's lying. I mean, I think the reason why some of these characters work so well is because the actors who are playing these superheroes really love either that hero or they're into comics at least a little bit. And besides O'Connor, I don't feel like, and maybe Adam Scott, I don't feel like any of them are really into comics that much or any kind of geek nerd type stuff. It just feels like, oh, this is going to make a lot of money. Let me sign on.
Speaking of which, holy shit. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, right? Terrible casting. Absolutely would be terrible. I like Pedro. He's fine. Stop casting him in everything. That's the big problem. Think about this for a second. You made a fantastic point. A lot of these actors and actresses go to Marvel to get the bag. I get it, right? I get it 100%. I'm 100% for it. You get the bag. However, what gets lost when you have actors that are going to get the bag is that passion that these people had for these movies. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I really love the idea of these characters loving what they're doing. Like, you could tell in the early stages of Tony Stark and all the Spider-Mans. I mean, even with Tom Holland and watching these characters early on in their careers, they actually genuinely are happy to be there. They love the role. They love the characters. They love talking about the characters. Chris Hemsworth with Thor. They love these characters that they are playing. But when you start tracking people because of their name, like Dakota Johnson, like, look, she is gorgeous, fantastic actress. Not somebody I would cast in a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like, nothing about her looks and says to me she should be in a Marvel movie.
No, she looks out of place in the trailer. Like,
right. Like, it's like, what is, and the thing about it, like, I guess on the opposite, like, you have Sydney Sweeney. She's like an ideal. It's hard because I feel like, look, Sydney Sweeney, she's beautiful, right? I get it. However, I don't think she can act, but that's not the point here. But she can at least look the part of some sort of way of, again, I'm not and anybody that's watching this, I'm not a comic book guy. I never read comic books or anything like that. So I don't really know the characters like Dom does. That's why I let Dom have the floor when he talks about those things. But for me, you can look at her and be like, all right, she looks like a comic book character of some sort. I look at Dakota Johnson and, like, even in the trailer, like you said, she looks completely out of place. Like, what is going on? get us back to the stages of people caring about being in the movies instead of paying. You have to develop characters. Yeah, Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth were actors prior to being the characters in Marvel, but they got put on the map mainstream for what they did in these movies. Same thing with like Robert Downey Jr. revitalized his career based on being at Iron Man.
Yeah, we didn't know who Tom Holland was.
It's fucking no, God no. You know what I mean? So it's you've got to find people. You don't have to have names to bring these characters to life. You have to build from the ground up again. I don't know how they're going to do it. The idea of them bringing back and also the culture that we're in nowadays doesn't help either. Like the Marvels is going to bomb regardless. Like I think it doesn't matter. I don't think there's a general audience that there's it's 50% honesty when it comes to whether they like the film, and then the other 50% is driven by their mad because they see a woman like they don't like the way that Brie Larson walks across the street, or don't like how she says things or the narrative she spews out into the universe that's not favorable to them. And I'll be first to say I thought the Captain Marvel was a steaming pile of crap, but I do think that there was what movie was it that she was in the end of? We talked about it, and I was like, that was the best she's ever been in the role, and just a small cameo or whatever at the end of the movie, but whatever it was.
Yeah.
But you have to find these organic characters to star in these movies, make stars, like make stars. Like stop trying to bring already ordained stars into these roles. Like everybody on the Fantastic Four should be like, maybe if you have one of them is a veteran that's been around for a minute, but like get some new faces. Make us love the characters. If you write good content and you write good stories, you're gonna get people to show up anyway. People have been wanting the Fantastic Four movies forever. They want a reboot of the X-Men movies since forever. If you make a good movie, it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the mask or the other side of that character.
I think that's why Iman Vellani, who plays Miss Marvel, I think that's why she does so well, because she was unknown and she is like a fanatic of this character. And her excitement and her her pride of being that character shows up on screen, whether it's in the movie or it's in the show. You're like, oh, like she loves this character. She loves the whole world, and she seems like a kid in a candy store when she's playing that character. And I think like what you're saying with like having like one or two veteran actors, I think that's why Nick Fury, like Samuel Jackson playing Nick Fury, was perfect. You have like an OG who would come out the shadows every once in a while, drop some cool lines, and then disappear because you go, oh shit, it's Sam Jackson. And it kind of solidified like this universe. Like, okay, they got Sam Jackson, so like this is gonna be taken seriously. And then like you say, you Marvel, DC, you can make people, because these are characters that an abundance of people have read about their entire lives. And then you go, oh, that's a perfect casting. I don't know who this person is, but guess what? Now he's one of my favorite actors. I think that's what they did with the Flash series on CW. He was relatively unknown, and now people love this guy, and they wanted him to be in the movies, and it just didn't happen. And so yeah, you don't have to have these huge names, because Marvel itself is the name. Spider-Man.
If you're making good movies, then nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Nobody cares if you're making the good movies, and that's what attracted everybody early on to this franchise, because you were making good quality movies, and then you were establishing names from these people, and that's how it worked. Like look what the Ninja Turtles did this year. Seth Rogen and his team, they cast all teenagers, all of them, all teenagers in the film, like as the characters. They could have brought in everybody, but like everybody else was somebody like Ice Cube, Seth Rogen, John Cena. You had all of these other people that were actually genuine Jackie Chan, like voices, but the main heart of the film were four individuals, four teenagers that played four teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was really cool how they did that. So, and speaking of which, while I'm in the middle of a rant, I said this to you early in the week. Jacob Elordi, who has been he has been an actor for like a drop in a bucket in the forefront of the scenario. He's had Saltburn and Priscilla this year, and now he feels like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, apparently. He talks about the Kissing Booth trilogy, how it made him, a social media star. He said they made him miserable. I didn't want to make those movies before I made those movies. Those movies are ridiculous. They're not universal. They're an escape. First things first, let me start by saying this. Movies are escape for everybody. Okay. The general audience depict themselves in movies to get away from all of their problems that they currently have in their life and really just want to soak themselves up for an hour and a half and 2 hours. And as somebody, as a fan of the first Kissing Booth, did not need to more, that the thing about it is never forget where you came from. Like,
Facts.
If it wasn't for the Kissing Booth, you would not be in Saltburn or Priscilla because nobody would know who the hell Jacob Elordi is. I would guarantee you that 70% of the general audience still don't know who Jacob Elordi is. Now, I know he was in, Euphoria or whatever?
Yeah.
As well, first off, not everybody watches Euphoria either. A, it's on HBO, but B, I didn't know he was in Euphoria until somebody told me he was in Euphoria, and I forgot about him.
And no one watches Euphoria for him.
No, right. So, that was this is the thing. Like, that's the crazy thing to me is, like, just to completely disregard that entire part of who you are. In 2018, let's see, I'm going to look at this thing real quick. Prior to 2018, when he did the Kissing Booth, he did 2 short films, and then he did a film called Swinging Safari. He's not even on the poster. So, that means he wasn't a big anybody in the movie. Okay. 2018, he did the Kissing Booth, did another short film, did another movie I've never heard of, did a couple of TV. He did a movie called The Very Excellent Mr. Dundee, where he filmed with the Crocodile Dundee. And he was, he's in the back of the poster here. You're telling me you did the Very Excellent Crocodile Dundee movie, or about Paul Hogan, but yet you're complaining about that. Then he did the Kissing Booth 2, and then he did a movie called Two Hearts, which I've never heard of.
I've seen that movie. I think I reviewed that movie. It
looks terrible.
Yeah,
and then the great. Kissing Booth, and then of course he was in Deep Water. Like, don't preach something like that. Like, bro, you're a nobody, really, still. Okay, don't again.
And you're kind of disrespecting the fandom. Like, it's one thing. It's one thing to be like
creators of the films.
Yeah,
your stars.
Yeah, because it's one thing to be like, I really wouldn't want to play that character again. I had this time, but like, it's fiction, and people. You fall deep into fiction when you love that story or that film. Like, that somebody or somebody's that series is their favorite thing of all time. Yeah. And then you're gonna tell them that, like, oh, it's shit. Like, no, you can't do that. Even the dollar store romance books have an audience, and you can say, oh, I don't like that, but there's people who love those books. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
relax, bro. Like, we get it. You played Elvis. Relax.
Right.
Like, you didn't do better than Austin. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just was so infuriating to watch that entire thing go down. All right, let's talk some of these movies that we watched this week. I'll save you from reading synopsises for all the movies we're going to talk about today.
I don't have none prepared this time.
Well, there was no show sheet. It was like, let's record tonight. No, like we talked about at the top of the show, we saw a bunch of movies this week. Maybe we'll just go by day of what we saw. Even the movies that I saw that you didn't see, right. You talk about what you saw, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to let you kick off by talking about what you started the week off with, and that was Maestro.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. This movie, Maestro, Netflix film, had a lot of hype around it, right? Coming into the screening, because it played at some festivals. And, it's worth the hype. The hype is real. It's so hard to... So, okay. All right. So this is where Bradley Cooper doing this film has now, I feel like, align himself as an auteur. This is very much like a style. And I want to liken it to the way that Sofia Coppola did Priscilla. The subtleties and the shots. There's one shot in particular where he's playing or he's conducting, and it shoots from behind the side of her head, and it's a pivotal point in the movie because a lot of things happen, and I'm fucking like, this fucking shot is fucking beautiful. But yeah, I mean, allowing scenes to breathe, allowing tension to really set in, to see the way, like this, I called it a divine tragedy, because when you have a person who's with you, and they eventually are just along for the ride, but then when you need to be with them, it's the tail end, and it's crazy. And it is that kind of poetic justice thing. The performances are phenomenal. I mean, the prosthetics, the energy put into it. And this is one of those films, I think, if you are just trying to kill some time, you're just, I'm going to throw in this movie, it's not going to hit the same way. This is like true like cinema where you want to sit down, and every aspect of making this film is what makes the film so great. The sound design, the acting, the line delivery, the chain smoking, the hair flips, the sweat. I mean, everything is what makes this movie great. I mean, even just when you look at that poster where he's flailed out, almost like the way Tar was, that's the way the movie's gonna make you feel as you get over it. It's great.
Yeah, you talked about the one scene, and I'm not going to go into details just because it's a pivotal. You can't. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I saw that I saw that in theaters, and when I was watching it, like it was a crazy moment, because it was like, holy shit, this is one of the most beautiful shots I've seen this year, maybe of the decade. And then it's a roar of emotions as a film fan, as a fan of watching movies. It's such a roar of like, holy shit, like it gives chills, down your spine. And then at the same time, there's a moment that happens there. So like you're in the midst of that, and it's just like this locking of eyes between these two characters. And it's just such a somber, such a beautiful moment, because the film is built on the relationship between Carey Mulligan character and Bradley Cooper's character, and their marriage is by far not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But the one thing that you appreciate about their relationship is like they still had each other, like they were still there. Like that moment was not at the best time of their life, right? Relationship wise,
right.
But it was just this unbelievable culmination of like this 5 or 6, I don't even know how long the moment was, but there's a culmination of this entire moment, and it's just by far, my opinion, the best directed, best acted, best scene I have seen this year. And I don't even really like, it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like it is just insane what he's capable of doing. This being his second film is insane. Like Bradley Cooper is on it. The way he dives into his character, like look what he did with Jackson Maine in A Star Is Born. Like look what he did there. Like that guy. And again, breathtaking film, fantastic direction, all of the above. And then it's like, yeah, what like you raised the bar on top of already, like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think the first word I said, or the first few words I said after the screening, was elegantly crafted, because I mean, it's one of those things where when something looks effortless, it's usually the hardest thing, right? And I think that's what, if someone was to just look at it, they'd be like, oh, this seems so simple. That means it was that much harder to do. Nothing ever looks simple is ever easy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Moving on to Tuesday, the first movie we saw of the day was Napoleon. Man, I'll tell you what. I was really disappointed in this movie. I'm a huge Joaquin Phoenix fan. And I feel like he's one of those actors that no matter what he does, it's like for some reason he still isn't in that conversation of like one of the better working actors, and it doesn't make any sense. Ridley Scott is kind of hit and miss in my opinion. Obviously, you go all the way back to Gladiator, but I liked his more recent turn, Last Duel. I thought that was fantastic, brilliant film. There's good to take away from Napoleon. Vanessa Kirby, I thought was like kind of the heart and soul of the film. I felt like she was good. The war sequences, the way he shot those, perfect. Typical Ridley Scott action sequences in a war. There's several different scenes where I kind of was blown away by his ability to really not just whether it was close up or far away, you felt like you were in the middle of this war. Now, the problem stems from me in the script is Napoleon, like there was no explanation or attention to detail about the little things he does, right? There's moments where he has like knee-jerk reactions to doing things that doesn't make any sense because you don't understand why he does these things. It is never fully fleshed out of why. And then on the flip side of it, there's several times in the middle of the war that he just goes away, right? He just goes off in the distance to think or process or stutter or like pause. And you're in the pivotal moments of these war, and he doesn't always have it all together.
Right.
And it's weird because it's never fully formulated. It's also like he has mommy issues, as we well aware or understand, because of the way that I wrote in my review was like Vanessa Kirby was his wife, but also his mother at the same token in how he treated her. He was very immature. You know, and the thing about it is, it's like when I wrote my review, I was like, well, maybe it's meant to be this kind of mess, but I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't take it as it was supposed to be hokey. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is supposed to be a spoof or anything. So as a result, it's like, it's not a good movie. And then it's like, I think about it, and it's just, this movie's not good. I don't know. What did you think, Dom?
Yeah. I feel like, because, okay, well, my expectations for this film going into it, after seeing the trailer and knowing Napoleon's reputation, I expected for a kind of, not just a deep dive into him as a person, but like how and why he became this like war strategist, like an expert war strategist. And we didn't really get any of that. It kind of feels like somebody found a bunch of journals and were trying their best to piece them together, which means that nothing is streamlined besides a few, 15-minute blocks. And then it's kind of all over the place. There's like people that you don't know, like kids, where you're like, where'd that kid go? How'd that kid get older? I thought there was a boy and a girl. Now there's 3 girls. Like it's a lot of confusion. And now, while there is moments that allows you to be an adult and put things together through context instead of being spoon-fed to you, but there's other stuff where you're just like, no, there's nothing else there. So this things didn't make any sense. I mean, it is aesthetically pleasing. I mean, there's some crazy, like the horse scene towards the beginning is fucking crazy. But yeah, I mean, for it to be that long, I feel like I know less about Napoleon than I should.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like you said, Vanessa Kirby, I really wish that they would have lent more time to her character. We definitely needed a lot more, because she brought out emotion of him, whether it was him being juvenile or a passion that he doesn't show, or even just smiling, because she was that thing that made him tick, and I don't think he realized it until it was too late a couple times. Yeah, I mean, I was really looking forward to this film, honestly. Like, I remember seeing a trailer, I think during the summer, and I was like, that's gonna be fucking fire.
Yeah.
And it was like a match. There was no fire. someone got the match and it blown out. I don't know how you have all this history and you couldn't put it all together. And apparently there's a 4-hour cut, I've heard.
Oh my God.
I'm
It felt
not
like 4
watching
hours.
that. Yeah, no, it really did. It really
Yeah.
that was my first thing. I was like, yeah, I felt all the time. It felt so long. And then the way it ended, he didn't like nothing felt like it was supposed to happen when it happened. The ending didn't feel like an ending. It just felt like, oh, that all right, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It could have had so much potential. I mean, even if you just focused on, hey, I love France so much. I'm ride or die for France no matter what. And then you just spent time with him going to war constantly and how he dives into these battles. And because they even say like he there's a point where he mentions, oh, it's simple because it's geometry. We don't even know how we learn geometry. We don't learn nothing about how he grew up or why he knows these things or
Yeah, it's so
why he's
weird.
interested in it. He's the Napoleon. That's just who he is. Like,
Yeah.
nah, yeah, it's not great.
Not at all. I'll let you take the lead on the next one. The Hunger Games, the Lost Token of the Wolf, or whatever it's called.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I even put in my review the too long of a title, and I understand. I think the book's title the same thing. You could have named it something else. I don't know. I believe the fans are calling it Boss for short. But no, yeah. So that night, Hunger Games. I preface every time with saying I've never read any of the books. I've never seen any of the movies. But I do through pop culture, memes and clips and SNL. I know Katniss. I know the district. I know about the capital, and I know enough about the personality of Coriolanus Snow to understand like this origin of Snow and how he became this the sociopath essentially, and what kind of brought that on. I do think the film was really fun. It's really like an addictive because it had a really great pace. I think that's what really kept it. Every moment there was something going on, and it's broken up in 3 parts like the book is, and if you get up and go to the bathroom, you're gonna miss something because there's references. There's some name drops. There's always some kind of thing happening. I was going to say Octavia Spencer. Viola Davis is definitely the standout for me. She plays like this unhinged leader of like the war games, and she is cuckoo. She's like an agent of chaos. She just wants to see humanity suffer for being humans. Like she understands that humans are flawed, and she's like, I'm gonna show everyone that why and how humans are flawed by doing these games. It's interesting to see how it plays out and why certain characters like their motivations, because nothing in the movie is as it seems. No one is exactly who they pretend to be. But it is kind of like, holding a mirror, just like The Purge. This is the type of story that kind of like holds a mirror up to, society, and is like, look at yourself. Like, we ain't shit. Like, this is the things that we would do when stripped down to, 1v1, 5v1, and a pile of weapons or a pile of food. We turn into animals, and we walk around like with this air of arrogance, and it's unwarranted because we're animals at the end of the day, and we all forget that. But yeah, I mean, it's 2 hours and 38 minutes. It doesn't really feel that long, and that's after seeing Napoleon. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's not a perfect movie, but because it does have some weird beats because it does break it up into 3 parts. But I mean, the song, like the voice of Rachel Zegler, Tom Blythe does an amazing job of, he's a prick. I mean, essentially, um, and but he doesn't think he is, and that's I think his character is like that perfect flaw of like I want to do the right thing, but it's also easier to do the wrong thing, but make myself feel that it's okay that I did that because either A, nobody saw, or it was for my own survival, so you can't judge me for it. So I thought it was pretty good.
Interesting. I'll watch it when it comes on TBS. No, I'm kidding. I like the original movies, so I'm kind of excited to see it. I don't know what I'll get a chance
and
to.
it did make me want to watch all the other ones. I was like, okay, let me go back and watch the other four. Some point after award season, I'll start watching the first four.
Yeah, I think that I'm excited to check it out. I'll be interested to see because of the the box office doesn't look to be as appetizing as I think they'd hope. Hunger Games, what is it called? Hunger Games, the Ballad of
Songbirds and
Scruggs. What's their?
I will say the
Project.
one beef I have with the film, and it's every film that features snakes. They never have snakes operating the way a snake actually operates. I have a snake. I've been around snakes my whole life, and they don't, maliciously go and attack people. They're not herd animals. You can't control them. So I just hate the way that they get used as weapons or seen as evil when they're literally just trying to do their own thing and be left alone.
So it needs to make between 250 to 300 million dollars to be.
They'll do good during Thanksgiving, I think.
But there's like 9,000 movies coming out.
That's true, and the movie Thanksgiving is out, and I think a lot of people want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting how that plays out to see if we get any more of them. I'm excited to check it out. It's on Wednesday. We saw Disney's Wish, which comes out on Thanksgiving week. I'm not going to say much about this film other than I didn't love it. I thought the songs were terrible. Ariana DeBose was great. Chris Pine was great. I would say it leans more heavily towards little girls and little boys. I think that this is definitely in a movie that my stepson, he thought it was okay, but he was really bored with it type of thing. And then of course my daughter was kind of engaged by it. I don't think it's not a great Disney movie by any stretch of the imagination. Is it bad? No. But it's definitely not great. I didn't like it at all, actually. I really just I just thought the writing was bad, and I really liked Chris Pine, and he was a great villain. I just thought the story was a little bit undercooked for me. So
yeah, I think so. So as the movie plays out, you kind of realize that maybe this is like the birth of the Disneyverse type of thing. With the references and how things play out and the names of some people. I did like the songs. I thought they were pretty good. But I mean, so as I was watching the film, I was thinking back to like your classic Disney princess movies, your Snow Whites, your Cinderellas, your Beauty and the Beast. And when you really think about those, they're slow as shit. Those movies are very slow. And that was of the times, and I feel like that's what this movie was trying to mirror. It was, I think it was supposed to be like, oh, this is like a today movie, but kind of like what if it was made back in the 60s or 70s, wherever they made some of the original ones. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I like the songs more than anything, and I think that's a testament to Ariana DeBose's voice. Her voice is like velvety, smooth in my ears. And when she sings, I see her face on Aja, on her character. I thought it did some things that were cool. I do think wasn't it Magnifico was the Chris Pine's character. I feel like he felt like a classic Disney villain. They could have turned up a little bit more, and it wouldn't have felt too scary or anything. But it did give off very like the white savior. America type of vibes of like, I have this place and you'll be safe here and do these things. And you're like, oh, you're Christopher Columbus. You think
Exactly.
you're this colonizer guy. So, and I don't, for anybody listening, it's not like necessarily a woke, quote unquote, film, because I don't know what the fuck that means. But, if you look at some of the undertones, I mean, all the Disney films have those kind of same undertones about the times. I mean, every film in general has undertones that represent those times. So if you're going to call a movie woke, every movie ever made is woke. Okay.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But
And the people
yeah, I
that
mean,
complain about woke movies, making woke movies, but get mad because of woke movie. I don't know, man.
I know. But yeah, I mean, it's not great. I think it's okay. I think, like you said, I think a lot of kids will enjoy it. I mean, anything with animals and talking animals and little bitty, like the little characters that are cute. That's the Disney prototype. You make your movie, you put in the little cute character, and that's gonna be like your selling point. But I think the animation looked great. That kind of mixture of 2D,
Yeah,
3D texture kind of
yeah, how
thing.
it zoomed in and out and it was unique, kind of.
Yeah,
I dug the animation too. I thought that was one of the stronger aspects of the film.
and I think it does get fun as you, at least for me, as you kind of realize who these characters can be or referenced off of or potentially maybe you kind of start looking for little Easter eggs and wardrobe and things of that sort, and that kind of makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, that was cool. That the little surprises here and there, like little.
Yeah,
I do think that's one thing that was really cool. So I think if you like go back and kind of watch it, you're gonna see some things that the first time, or you'll see them the second time that you didn't see the first time, type of thing. I do agree with that.
yeah. It's definitely like if you love Disney, like classic Disney, this is kind of like a love letter to the classic Disney films. The way that it's portrayed, the way it's set up, the outfits, you know. But yeah, I think because musicals are hard when you rely heavily on your musical numbers. I feel like sometimes the writing does suffer, and everybody ends up chasing whatever the great one just was. So you're chasing in Encanto, you're chasing what's that other one? Like Coco. You're chasing these type of things, and when you're chasing, you're not focusing on yourself. And I think that's kind of where it loses itself a little bit.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do. All right. What else did I watch? I watched. Yeah, I watched Thanksgiving. I saw that last night.
I really want to
You
see
know,
that.
I didn't have any expectations whenever I went into it. I mean, just a little bit of a background on the film. Obviously, it's Eli Roth's latest film. It's about a story of Black Friday riot that ends in tragedy, leading to a killer terrorizing Plymouth, Massachusetts, which is actually the birthplace of the holiday. So it's a perfect little slasher. Like, I mean, it has a lot of the elements that I really like about slasher films. It's got dumb characters who do dumb things at the worst times. It's got a pretty good killer who isn't perfect but gets the job done. A few solid twists, some really cool kills with blood and guts and gore. Is it a perfect movie? No, but it doesn't need to be. I really enjoyed people getting killed for swiping grandma's waffle maker. You know what I mean? Like, I thought Roth delivered. I highly recommend checking it out on the big screen with an audience opening weekend. It gave me something like it just was appetizing, and I think it's definitely fun. And horror fans I think will like it. To me it's kind of on par with a like Scream like atmosphere. Definitely can see another one coming. Would not surprise me one bit, and I wouldn't even be mad about it. So definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was very good, and definitely recommend checking it out. So yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy Eli Roth's work.
Yeah, I think he to me. I wrote about this. I was like, he's kind of hit and miss for me a little bit, but when he's on, he's on,
Yeah.
and to me, like I felt like he was on here. So that to me was why I really liked it and really kind of enjoyed what it brought to the table here. So very very excited. Hopefully other people will check it out. I can't imagine. What's the budget on this movie? Thanksgiving movie budget. It can't be that high.
I'm gonna
15
guess.
million.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I was gonna guess 10.
Yeah. So it I could see it. Let's see what the box office this weekend. They're expecting. What were we expecting on this bad boy? I forgot Trolls comes out next week too, right?
Come out today.
Oh, did it come out today?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? Where's he at? Yeah, they're expecting it to do 10 to 14 million. So I mean, you're talking it's going to be making its money back pretty fast. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. That's pretty awesome. Like I said, check it out. I really enjoyed it. That being said, we are going to transition into our top 3 comfort movies. Dom, what? Give me one. Just give me your 3 comfort movies.
So this is a little hard for me only because there's a grouping of films that kind of fall into that to the same title or the same place for me, but I did pick 2. So my first one is Superbad. And this is one I put on very periodically when I'm going to sleep. I know every line of the movie. It's always fun to watch. And what's really stupid is I just realized that their names are Seth and Evan after Seth Rogen and Evan was it Goldberg?
Yeah.
Is the other writer. I was like, I just realized that was their names, like after Seth and Evan. My second one is This Is the End, another Seth Rogen. I watch this all the time. I saw it when it came out twice. It's so good. It's such a fun film. I mean, and just to have I think Seth's films are so fun because he has all his friends there. This Is the End is like all the personalities turned up to 11. And it's just you get Hermione losing her shit. It's fun.
So good.
and Jonah Hill, and a demon. It's crazy. And then my third one is Next Friday. I prefer Next Friday over Friday. I think Friday is the better film, but I'd rather watch Next Friday because of
makes plenty of sense.
Yeah, the pacing. It's a lot more fun, and we get Michael Blackson and Joker and Baby Joker and Chico, and that movie is a great time.
Yeah, this one struggles. It's a varying list.
Yeah,
for sure. Films over the last couple of years that really have come a quality backbone for my comfort films. It's a combination. I watch one and watch the other. It's almost I have to watch both. 21, 22 Jump Street.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those movies have they're just a go-to. Like if I need me a pick me up or I need a chair or whatever that looks like, that to me, like this only ramps up. I love this. I just love those movies so much. I consistently am heartbroken that we didn't get more because I really do feel like these movies are fantastic. And I
love the running joke. I love the running joke of like them looking a lot older than they're supposed to be, but they're just like, fuck it. I'm 17. No, the fuck you're not.
Exactly.
You're like 30.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I love that. And it's just they're just such great movies. Yeah. I love them so much. I'm such a big fan of them. Let's see here. Fast 5. That should not surprise anybody that the Fast and the Furious movies are in there. A lot of my comfort movies are comedy movies, but I also will say any of the Fast and the Furious kind of fit into there except for Tokyo Drift because that's a dog shit movie. But and then The Hangover. It's crazy. Almost went Superbad. Almost went just about any Seth Rogen movie ever made. There's a lot of different ones out there. But
almost went 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Exactly, 40. Like Seth Rogen just makes all the greatest movies. They're just hilarious. He's like one of the funniest men on the planet. But to me, The Hangover, just the OG, you throw it on and you laugh your ass off every time.
Yeah.
I still think it's one of the greatest comedies ever.
Yeah.
So
fucking
it's
that Mike Tyson scene.
Boom! But I definitely think that I mean, comfort movie, it does vary though. Like
Yeah.
a lot of my it's like a lot of those were more newer, you know what I mean? You know, then like back in the day, like Ace Ventura Pet Detective was my fucking go-to.
Right. The Mask was mine.
The Departed is one of mine, you know what I mean? Like I love watching The Departed. I think it's
Yeah.
in my
I used
opinion,
to.
it's the greatest
What
movie
was
ever
it?
made.
I used to watch Walking Tall all the time.
No, that's a bit like the perfect cover movie is just a no nonsense, stupid ass movie that you turn on and enjoy, whether it's a laugh like 21, 22 Jump Street, Friday, any of the Friday, Next Friday, any of the Fridays, really, like any of those movies, really. I go back,
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop,
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
3 or 2, whatever one's at the amusement park. I think that's
Yeah.
2. It's 2. By far my favorite. Like I gotta go back there. There's just so many of them, but yeah. You said top 3. I was like, shit. But before we go, Matt Rife's new special. We won't talk about it yet. We're going to. I want you to watch it because I want to talk about it.
Okay.
I've got a lot of strong feelings about it, and I need you to watch it because we are both massive Matt Rife fans.
Yeah.
And I love him a lot, but I have a lot.
I need him to come back to Nashville, and hopefully I can get some fucking tickets this time.
He is coming back to Nashville next year, and they're all sold out.
I saw that. I know it's pissing me off because they sell out in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they sell out. Then also like $8,000, which doesn't
look at here. Like I have a friend. She's already been on her tangents about Ticketmaster. I see what y'all doing, Ticketmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all putting us in this little queue. And we'll be in there early as fuck. You get there, you're turning line. The only thing that's left is way in the front, expensive tickets. And then you have certified resale because y'all bought them motherfuckers and then trying to resell that shit back to me at a higher price. I see what y'all doing, and it's making me mad, okay?
Yeah,
like, I'm going to need... what's going to happen is you're going to have... I'm going to start a movement with these comedians, and they're only going to go to fucking Zanies, and then you can fucking kick rocks.
Yeah, do like 18 shows at Zanies instead of
you
know what I mean?
We will sell that bitch out every time.
Yeah, because like for me, like I really wanted to go see Chappelle, but Chappelle's tickets were just...
I know.
Like I have a certain dollar amount in my head that I believe. Like I even did this with Taylor Thomason. Big fan of Taylor Thomason. Saw her a couple weeks ago. Fantastic live. Really enjoyed the show. But like when I went to first buy her tickets were the same price as Kevin Hart's tickets.
Oh shit!
I spent just under. I think I spent like $105. I don't really care where I sit. It's a stand-up comedy show. Yeah. I don't need to see the person, especially if at the Bridgestone they have the monitor or the big screens. Yeah. But like I spent like $105 or $110 on Kevin Hart tickets. If you're more than Kevin Hart, in my opinion, you don't get. I'm not going to go see you. Matt Rife, I was willing to even cross over a little bit, go higher. But when tickets started becoming like the $90 to $100 a piece, that's before fees. I can't do it. Like, but Chappelle was like $150 a ticket.
Yeah.
And that was nosebleed. I was like, bro, I love Chappelle. Chappelle, I think, is the fucking GOAT. Will always be the GOAT in my opinion. But I can't do $150 for a ticket. I just can't.
I prefer my comedians at either the James Polk Theater because the tickets usually don't go over like $80 and there's no bad seat in there, or Zanies. I love Zanies. I love the intimate. But when you want to catch a big comedian in the Zanies, they're randomly coming and you'll get a message the day they're there. Hey, Tuesday, Chris Rock is now at Zanies tonight at 7:00. He's like, it's 5:00. You just want me to drop everything and show up? Fuck?
Yeah, and I get it. They just drop in at certain places, but whenever I went to LA, like Dane Cook dropped in and did a set, and that was really cool because like I know everybody hates Dane Cook. I feel like Matt Rife is the new Dane Cook.
I saw Dane Cook live when he was popping, when the whole like Sufi and all that shit was super big. Hilarious.
I saw the set I saw at the beginning of the year and I saw him. He's still hilarious. Like dude like single-handedly like got me through some shit, man. Like his stuff is hilarious. Like Dane Cook will always be fucking funny to me. His Nana's a cheating whore, fucking the Monopoly jokes, the
No, my favorite thing that always sticks in my head when I think about him is he's talking about going to pee and like drop a pee, like hits the water and bounces up. He's like, because he's like, my phone slid off my powerful chest. It fell in the toilet, and then one splash of water just came up and hit me straight in my eye. Fucking died. I was rolling.
Yeah. It's crazy. I have his set like on my Spotify playlist, and I play. I'll like if I go drive for a long period of time, I always listen to it. Like I'm such a big fan of his. Like he's so great, dude. That being said, that's it. Random Friday show. What's next? Next Sunday is the 26th. We should be. I think we'll do a show that weekend. So yeah, I won't be there the following weekend, but we'll figure something out. We got to do some alternating shows. We're going to keep putting these out there to you guys. We had a lot of fun. A lot of going on right now, and we'll probably do some more Oscar stuff here. And our ballots will be due soon, so that's exciting. And we've got some movies coming that we're going to see.
That means we're going to be watching like 20 movies in like the span of like a couple days.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exhausting. So we'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.